Man, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy Tone, man. Back for another storytelling edition of my life, my journey up to this point. Man, today I had a chance to work with a new hire, and it was almost like looking into a reflection of myself. Um, Young brother, he's like 26, 25, 26, and oddly enough, he was at the job fair last month or whenever it was, month and a half ago. And while we were at the job fair, initially my manager told me that we didn't have any more room on the team, so we weren't really looking for anybody. He's like, but if somebody stands out, obviously you can let Suman know. Obviously you can let the recruiter know and let her reach out and see if it's a good fit, whatever. Set him up for an interview, basically. Towards the middle of the job fair, the director of sales asked all the leaders to come stand in the front, and they had everybody sit down that was there, just basically welcoming everybody that, came to the job fair. And in the midst of all that, he started calling out leaders to talk and just say, a few things about whether it be, talking about the opportunity. Well, of course, talking about the opportunity, but also um, I had no plans or heads up that I was going to be asked to speak. So I was just kind of standing there, watching everybody do their thing. Next thing I know, the director asked me if I can share a few words and talk about my journey and how I got to Wyndham. So I did. And come to find out, this young man took a liking to my story. And what he later told me, when I saw him for the first time at the training, he was like, "Man, I saw you. I saw you speak at the job fair, and I really, I was really drawn to your story, and I can tell, you were being authentic, And then so I worked with him today, and he basically told me that it's crazy, man. It's almost like looking into a reflection. Um, because here I am as a leader in the company with an opportunity to empower people to be successful in this role. It's not easy, but it's a lot of fun, and it can be easy. If you dedicate yourself to learning the craft and just really being genuine and authentic with people. I shared a story with him about how I got to Wyndham and how things have led up to this point, going back 20 years. And I wanted to share it with y'all because I feel like, my hope is that it impacts somebody's life, and inspires somebody. That's my only goal, inspire people to thrive, because I've been inspired to thrive. So with that said, I'm just gonna give it to you as clear and concise as I can. So when I moved to Orlando, back to Orlando from LA, when I finished culinary school, it was 2003. I immediately got a job working for the Peabody Hotel as a line cook. And, I had a lot of fun with that because I was, fresh out of culinary school, excited to be in the industry, And the Peabody Hotel just so happened to be a 5-star hotel, very busy, but we got to cook quality food and I learned a lot. So it was a good experience. Towards the end of my first year there, I would say it's probably about 10 months, I started dealing with some complications with a disease I was suffering from. I went to the emergency room. They checked me into the hospital and I was there for 2 weeks. Now, mind you, I was 23 at the time, so I was ignorant. I didn't think about calling my employer and telling them that I was in the hospital. I just assumed, I would be there for a night or two and they let me out. But I ended up staying in there for 2 weeks. Again, didn't call my employer to tell them where I was at, because in my mind, I felt like it's a valid enough reason. When I get out, all I got to do is show them my documents and I'll be good. But obviously, that wasn't the case, right? So when I went back to work, the chef basically was like, Tone, like, where you been, man? Like, so I was like, Chef, that's my bad. I've been in the hospital, pulled out my paperwork, and he gave me this look like, man, I feel so bad for you. You just couldn't do anything. And he told me, like, listen, unfortunately, my hands are tied. It was basically job abandonment because we didn't hear from you. But go ahead and grab your equipment, your knives or whatever, and, wish you all the best. So, of course, I'm like, damn. You know what I'm saying? Like, I might have had like $500 to my name, $400 or $500. I had a month left on my lease, and obviously no job lined up. So what ended up happening, I went home, just kind of panicking, like trying to figure out, okay, what am I gonna do? And thankfully, I was able to pay my rent for the last month of my lease because my brother loaned me some money. Shout out to my brother. So I had like a 30-day window to figure it out. Well, one day I went to the mailbox and I'm checking my mail, and some random dude comes up to me and was like asking me if I can find some dope for him, specifically some crack. Why he wanted to ask me, I don't know, but he did. And at first, I was like, man, if you don't get your ass away from me, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, like, what are you doing? But he was so persistent, man. He kept, just begging me basically. And long story short, I was able to track down some dope to start selling this dude what he needed because I didn't have a job. Well, I promise you, every day he'd come to my house with, sometimes 60, 80 bucks, other times $400, $500. And he's just cashing me out pretty much every day. And I hated it. I actually despised it. And I was in the shower, a week or two after all this, started happening. And I broke down crying, man. And I just was like, Lord, this ain't it. This is not the life that I want. I need help. And in the midst of crying out to God, I was reminded that my grandfather used to pray every day. And so I was thinking to myself, I'm like, man, I know my grandfather wasn't crazy. If he was praying every day, he had to be doing it for a reason. You know what I'm saying? So I got out the shower, got dressed, got down on my knees, and I just started talking to God. I didn't know necessarily how to pray. I just started talking the way I'm talking to you guys. And I'm like, Lord, listen, if you can hear me, I need a job. I need a place to live. My lease is about to end, and I need your help. It's pretty much my prayer. And so I get up, I go out, and I'm looking for jobs. I'm filling out applications. I'm doing this for a couple of days in a row. Again, I wake up in the morning, pray, go out, fill applications. One day, I was driving, and I got a call from this lady on my cell phone. This lady said, hey, we got your application. We wanted to know if you'd be interested in coming over to the Premium Outlet Mall tomorrow for an interview. And so, of course, I said yes. Went to the interview. And as I'm in the interview, the guy's asking me normal questions. At the end of the interview, we shook hands. He said, okay, we'll call you in a couple of days, let you know what the status is of the interview, if we want to bring you aboard. And I got up and I walked away. And as I'm walking away, I get about 10 or 15 feet from where we were sitting, and I hear him calling my name. So it's like waving me to come back. So I go back to the table and I'm standing in front of him. He's like, man, would you mind if I pray with you before you leave? I'm like looking around like, nah, bro, I don't mind. Sat down, held hands, I bowed my head. The first thing he said in his prayer was like, Lord, I pray for this young man and his ability to sing. I pray for this young man that you'll help him find a place to live. Man, I open my eyes and I'm looking at this dude while he's praying. I've got tears in my face. I'm like, this is crazy, right? So he ended up, finished his prayer. He looks up at me. He sees me wiping my face and he's like, man, you okay? I'm like, man, I'm good. I said, but how did you know I could sing, man? How did you know I need a place to live? He said, brother, I don't know, man. I'm just being led by the Spirit to pray for you. I said, man, if you don't hire me for this job, I could care less. The fact that you just prayed with me the way that you did is confirmation to me that God is real. So he ended up hiring me. And throughout that year working for that company, he was like a mentor, definitely like a mentor, an older brother. Just kind of took me under his wing and was encouraging me, always spoke life into me, prayed with me, I thank God for him, man, because he's definitely God sent. Just, someone that that I could look up to, as just someone with good character, that genuinely cared about people. I just happened to be one of those people who got to interact with him. So fast forward, here we are 20 years later. I'm working for Wyndham. When I got the job, I didn't think this was gonna be my end all be all. And it still ain't, but this is definitely an opportunity to really put myself in a much better position financially. And so anyway, I get the job here at Wyndham, and I'm thinking, you know what, this is gonna be a stepping stone to something else. Whatever that something else was, I have no idea. I just felt like I needed to be doing something else, right? Well, as you guys know, because I've shared before, this career has been a blessing, just for me financially, and I'm able to be myself 100% of the time. There's no cookie cutter, way of doing what we do. You can really be yourself, and if you understand the flow and how to get people to stop and listen to you, it's a beautiful thing, man. People get, incredible discounts on resort stays, and we get paid to send them on a tour to get that incredible promotion. That's the bottom line. It's nothing more to it, at least for us and what we do, right? After meeting this young man today, man, he really just gravitated towards me in the sense that he appreciated my transparency and my honesty, and for me sharing my story openly so that he can see that this is a great opportunity for him, to help change his situation financially and, do well in that area, But not only that, because I'm such an open book, I tell people about my faith, unashamedly, you know what I'm saying? I'm not perfect, I make mistakes all the time. I sin, I would say daily, you know what I'm saying? But that doesn't change the fact that, my faith is strong. I lean on God as much as I can. And now it just so happens that I'm more clear-minded. I'm more open-minded. I'm more obedient to making better decisions. You know what I'm saying? I've cut some things out of my life and got back in the gym. You know what I'm saying? I'm listening to the right content. You know, if it's meditation on the word, or just, spending time in prayer, or listen to a sermon. I still listen to my hip hop and gangster music when I want to, but there's a balance, man, and I'm just appreciative um, to be able to be myself and add value to people's lives, man, and encourage people and uplift people the same way my brother Joseph did for me. And so, yeah, I just wanted to share that, man. I'm sure there's more to it. You guys will see. I've got some things um, lined up to eventually roll out to the public, but for now, I'm just gonna keep doing this and documenting my journey. You know what I'm saying? I've been documenting my journey for, I would say, 7 years now, which is crazy. 2018 is when I started. But I say that 7 years is significant. If you know, you know. But that's all I got for y'all, man. I appreciate you for listening. Until next time, let's stay inspired to thrive. I'll holla. Peace.